Uh, Hi Xiyan, how are you?
Hello, hello. I'm fine, thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much, Xiyan, for joining us, and we are really honored to have you here as a keynote speaker.
No problem. That's my honor.
I can perfectly see your slides, so you can start your presentation now. Good luck, stage is all
Yeah.
yours.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. And today I will talk about the enabling the digital transformation through IoT technology with 5G networks. Now, firstly, we talk about 5G networks, and I got a lot of questions about why we are having the 5G networks. What is the benefit of the 5G networks? And firstly, we can see some figures here. Now, the 5G networks is directly and indirectly impact the economic output. For example, in China and in the world, the economic output has been raised like a lot of massive amount, and also in the different the industry, we can see in the manufacturing is most affected by the 5G networks. The economic output from the 5G support is like 3,000, around 3,000 million US dollars. So the 5G networks has to new has some benefits in three major scenarios. Firstly, the 5G networks can enhance the mobile broadband, which has the user experience rate around 100 meg, which is 10 to 100 times of 4G networks. And also it has the mobilities within like 500 kilometers per hour, which is 1.5 faster than 5G than 4G networks. And also the user peak of the 5G network is 1.7 to 10 gigabyte, which is 10 to 100 times compared to the 4G networks. And so within these abilities, we can have continuous wide coverage, hospitals high capacity scenarios. For example, we can have high definition video call with 5G. We can have AR and VR functions. We can stream 4K, 8K, ultra high definition videos from through the 5G networks, and also we can go for cloud gaming through 5G networks. And the second benefit is the ultra reliable low latency communications. And it has like 1 milliseconds latency, air interface latency, which is one fifth of the 4G networks, and which has a very high reliability. So with this benefit, we can have the Internet of Vehicles, we can have industrial control, and also we can have the smart grid because the low latencies. And finally, the 5G networks has massive machine type communications. The connection density will be like five times more than 4G networks, reaches millions levels in kilometer squared, and with low power consumptions, low cost. With this benefit, we can go for smart meeting reading. We can have more environmental monitoring sensors, which in use of smart cities. So the more benefit and more like advantages in technical aspect, the 5G networks have two main functions. One is called network slicing, and the other is edge computing. Now, with these two technologies, and the 5G networks will bring the new development opportunities for innovative applications in various industries, and to meet the unique requirements from different business with the low latency and the high level security. And so speaking of the network slicing, what is network slicing? We don't have this in 4G networks. The network slicing is kind of divided the network into unique functions. For example, it has isolations, the specificity, for the networks, which guarantee the spectrum of the resource and the data security. And second is the business classification guarantees, which connect the services on demand. And finally is customization. We can set up the network capacities and arrange on the demand. For example, with 5G networks, we can slice in with different technicals for different applications. For example, in this case, for the high definition videos, we use eMBB slicing. For the automatic driving, we use other slicing technologies. And for large scale IoT applications, we use another slicing technologies, which those slicing technologies cannot interface to each other. So we can use the different channels for 5G networks to into different applications, which is a high reliable network. And for the edge computing, the reason for this is we can put all the calculations, all the program into local resources, which will achieve a ultra low latencies. So all the data is offloaded locally. And also the data is more secure because the data are all limited use to within the region. For example, if the enterprise has a very high data security demand, we can do the data stay within the certain areas. And finally is the position seeking. Position seeking, this is the network technologies which can processing and computing into within the user's interface. So compared to the 4G, the 5G networks has more first the 5G networks is more suitable for the modern industrial productions rather than to consumers. So what is the difference between the 5G networks with 4G networks? And we can see it in two aspects. The network the 5G network has more functional and variabilities. For example, the 5G networks can use different technologies to tailor functions to different enterprises rather than a unified network in 4G. And also the network performance is more reliable and with high bandwidth with low latency when compared with 4G. The billing is more complex billing, so we can set the different billings for 5G networks rather than a simple billing in 4G networks. And in the operation aspect, the network establishment is upon works. So the 5G networks can be designed and operate uniquely rather than 4G network. And also the activation is batch activated from the 5G network. And in independent operations, and the most importantly, the 5G networks can achieve private data and network slicing rather than a unified data. So put this way, the enterprise can have their own data, own networks from the 5G technologies. Now, there are three kinds of mode of the dedicated 5G networks mode. First is the preferential mode, and the executive mode, and the premier mode. The difference between those three modes are the unique functions for the network, for the 5G networks. For example, the first level is for the business acceleration, business isolation, and by using the different technical ways, we can achieve a private sector from the public networks, so which is the very low level of the services. And for the executive mode and the premium mode, it will have a unique their own network functions from the public networks. So which means those two modes, the enterprise can have a own network from those two modes. And speaking of the industrial network from 5G technologies, mostly the industrial will use executive mode and also the premium mode. The difference between those two modes are firstly, the executive mode is using the public networks, and which slicing a part of the network to these unique users. And for the premium mode is we design and build a own network for this enterprise. For example, the enterprise can have their own base station, they can have their own spectrums, frequencies. So this premium mode is mostly for the business that have strictly requirements on data and management for the network performance. For example, like national security related business. And for the normal business, we can use the executive mode, which can have not their own base station, but they can have their own like part of the network in their business. So after we have the 5G network, we will need a platform for the industrial internet. So the industrial net platform is the core for the 5G smart factories and also other industry business, based on the capabilities of the equipment interconnection and management the industrial internet platform, and which this can meet the industrial requirements in various scenarios and operate flexible management and monitoring the equipment at the real time, at any time, and can provide the data analysis and modeling services to assist manufacturing customers to maximize the value of the data mining. And then it can optimize the enterprise operations based on those feedback of the data. And another unique thing is for the platform, you can have various of functions, and those functions are tailor-made, and you can choose. It's not the whole batch. You can choose anything, and you can add anything and upon the requirements. So it's more like it's more flexible to the industrial business. Now, after the platform is about data. The IoT is all about data, so the data acquisition is most important for the business. And in the industrial, the smart industrial smart factories, this platform, the IoT platform, can connect and transmit the data through the 5G networks and to the platform. And those data contains the manufacturing resources in the whole process of manufacturing, including the products processing, the equipment status, the testing equipment, all the tools, the personal information, the environmental information, and the energy consumption, etc. Every data can be collected to the platform. And So the application system for the data connection contains five stage. The first is the equipment data acquisition. So we use the sensors to acquire the data from the process. And also we put those data into visual production management systems. And basically those visual production management system is on-site, and which can be quickly deal with the production process and make the management decisions. And beyond that, we can have like digital twin technologies to put that into 2D or 3D status, which is the electronic signatures. It can be designed and produced according to the layout of the equipment at user side. And this one is most suitable for the management side. And the most important is this it has the adaptable configurations. So from the platform, you can edit the corresponding configurations or the program controller to the users at any time through the platform and by using the 5G network. And finally is the program management and transfer. So with having this program, you can set up or copy the whole process in different places within really short time. So that's the main purpose of this and smart industrial factories technologies. So if you can see the image in the right-hand side, so those are the process of the data connections. And speaking of the industrial internet, which the 5G bring us, and so what is the industrial internet? So the industrial internet is the key infrastructure linking the whole industrial system and also the industrial chain and the value chain as well. And it supports the development of the industrial intelligence. And it is emerging business from application mode, formed by the deep integration of the new generation of information technologies and also the manufacturing industry. And this is a key foundation of the internet developing from consumption to production and from virtual economy to real economy. So the scope of the industrial internet is mainly design of process manufacturing and discrete manufacturing, and it compound with the network, the platform, and the platform security, the data security, edge computing, and industrial intelligence. The object of having this industrial internet is for the whole factors, for example, the full industrial chain, the full value chains. And with the system is formed like 4 core levels, as same as the IoT systems, including the platform, the applications, the network, and edge computing. So the industrial internet is transformed from the digital to the intelligent of the process of the industrial process. And the demand of the industrial enterprise of internet is we can tackle the pinpoint of the industrial from different aspects. For example, the industrial is difficult to improve the production efficiency, and difficult to customize on demand, difficult to replace the production line process, difficult to change a key equipment, and difficult to guarantee the safety of the productions. By using the industrial internet from the enterprise, we can like replace the people to robots, from artificial operation to robot productions. And we can, which this reduce the cost and increase efficiency, of course. And secondly is we can change the massive production into multiple productions, which can support like flexible manufacturing, which can reduce the also reduce the cost of the manufacturing. And finally is from the intelligent terminal into a cloud-based brain, which can rapidly iteration of the equipment. We can change the equipment at time. We are not rely on the equipment itself. We are rely on the algorithm from the cloud and for the whole process. So generally speaking, is change from the single-based information technology applications into comprehensive digitalization and internalization and intelligence. So with the 5G industrial network internet, we can remote collaborate management. So with by using the 5G unique point of the low latency, and we can also have service-based product through the high speed of the collection of the product data analysis and using the 5G high broadband speed. And also we can have the real-time supply and demand matching with 5G. Supply chain and market supply and demand information can be fully connected to form an industrial chain system. And furthermore, the 5G network can have the intelligent productions by a real-time collection of the production data and remote real-time control through AI and 5G. And finally, the 5G network achieve fire management and unmanned control based on the machine version plus 5G to improve the real-time performance of the quality management and reduce the labor cost. Now, there will be 5 stages for internalization of the industrial enterprise. And the first level is prospection level, which in this level mainly solve the problems such as different data sources, different sampling frequencies, huge difference in the communication protocols. So in this levels, the solution on the traditional IT actor is very necessary, and we don't need a platform. For example, the application is like extensive data collecting. The next stage is the prediction stage. In this stage, mainly solve the problems such as the digital accurate O&M, algorithm side deployment, and the optimization, flexible upgrading. And in this stage is also is necessary to have the additional IT actors. And the example applications will be the machine version quality inspections, the video surveillance, cloud-based AGV, and AI equipment, etc. And from here, there will be a large change. For example, the next stage is the collaboration stages, meaning of the problems such as the factory digital twin and collaborative optimization, in intelligent scheduling management and the decision optimization. So in this level, the private cloud-based solution is necessary, and also we need to have a platform. And for example, the application is example of application is the command and the dispatch. And furthermore, the ecological stage is next level, which means solve the problems of the industrial internet platform, R&D, flexible manufacturing, resource locking, etc. So in this stage, the private cloud-based solution is necessary, and also the platform is necessary. And for example, the application is the enterprise cloudification. And finally is the cloudification stages, focus on the industrial internet, which is public cloud platform or private cloud platform, research and development, and aggregation of the ecological resources, cloudification capacities and services and other issues. So after these 5 stages, the enterprise will is for will like upgrade to the industrial internet enterprises. And there are some case studies we're doing through the 5G and industrial networks. For example, the first one is the smart factories. And this is the overall solution architecture. And firstly, we will have a platform layer in the middle, and which has a 5G private network operation platform. So in this platform, we will have like a unique platform, private deployed into the customer's campus, and this platform is totally like operated by their own, and with their own 5G network layers as well. So they will have their own 5G networks, base stations, their own 5G spectrums of frequencies. And with the network, the terminals layers will link with the platform layers. For example, the cameras and also the industrial gateways, office equipment, and etc. And also there will be a application layers into, for example, paperless office applications and 5G AI video inspections and factory robots for with the terminal layers. And finally, the presentation layers will be like alarm status conditions, the card connections and the card status, base station status. So that's for the maintenance operation work. Second, the case study is a smart port solution. And in this solutions, we build a 1 + 1 + n + 1, which means one network, one cloud, and n applications, and one center end-to-end solutions. And as same as the previous one, we have a platform layers which contains different applications. And also we will provide a private 5G networks, which they have their own base stations, they have own frequencies, and link with the device layers, for example, CCTVs, access controls, etc. And in one center, everything will be displayed in the intelligent operation center. So we will have a big screen to show everything together with the platform. So that's my sharing today. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the chat box.